What are the data telling you?
The data are telling us that activity clearly is losing steam. So our index pretty much moved in a straight line higher from about mid-April to mid-June. And then it started to flatline for about 3 weeks, moved sideways. And then last week, it actually looks like it's starting to tip over. And that's a pretty broad-based loss of momentum that we're seeing across most of the indicators that we're watching.
Is this because, take us into the numbers a little deeper.
Yeah.
Is this because, for example, people are now a little more fearful about going out? They're a little more fearful about going to retail destinations or to restaurants. What are you seeing that tells you that? What are the numbers behind that overall finding?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we actually have the ability to dig into the state level. And what we initially saw was a clear loss of momentum in the COVID hotspots, so your Sunbelt states. They started to peak out mid-June, and that was the initial driver of the loss of momentum. What we're starting to see now actually is the Midwest follow a very similar pattern, both in terms of cases accelerating and now activity starting to level off. And it looks like the Midwest is actually running precisely 1 month behind the Sunbelt in terms of the patterns we're seeing in the data. And even in the Northeast, where, the virus is still obviously under control, but even there, we're starting to see some signs of activity leveling off. And that's telling us that that could be a behavioral response, to what's going on in other parts of the country. But also underneath all of these data could be the fact that this fiscal support is fading, as we know.
Right.
There's pretty much no support from stimulus checks. And that was a very significant driver of that positive momentum early in the reopening.
Annetta, I want to go back, if we can, if the control room can, to that chart that showed the time series of performance of the economy, that one right there. And we're looking there at how the economy falls off in early March and then slowly gathers momentum. And now it seems to be rolling over a little bit. We're talking here about slowing economic activity. But as I look at that graph, it looks like it is very marginally coming down. What is the amplitude of that decline?
So you're absolutely right. We're not looking at a massive contraction. But remember, the markets tends to trade not on levels of activity, but on the rate of change, right? Your second derivatives. And if you actually look at the growth rates, whether it's week on week, our index is contracting. Month over month, we went from 40% growth rate, which is where we were mid-June, to down, mid-single digits.